Well, it's 5 a.m. I'm probably not looking super chipper right now because I'm not a super early person, but I'm getting ready to get out to Angkor Wat. Going to see sunrise. Going to do Angkor Wat in a day. Most people, when they visit Angkor Wat and the Angkor ruins, buy the 1 day pass. I've done the 7 day pass before, but I'm going to do the 1 day pass and share with you what it's like to spend the whole day in Angkor Wat and the Angkor ruins. So I was expecting like a lot of people here, but not a lot of people here. I think mostly people here buying the ticket are just getting it for the day. Well, that was fast. Got my 1 day pass, and the picture is better than last time. Usually when they take my picture at any of these things, I look like I've just gotten out of rehab or living in a halfway house or something. So I think we're going to make sunrise. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Don't forget to bring something warm in the morning. It is cool in the mornings, like a light sweater or jacket. 1 day pass, 3 day pass, 7 day pass. 3 day pass, you've got 10 days to use it up. Doesn't have to be consecutive days. 7 day pass, you have 30 days to use it up. Doesn't have to be consecutive days. I'm here. Way too early. About 15 minutes away from sunrise here. Now they have the left side pond, which is kind of the one where everybody used to go to. Seems like it's closed at the moment. I recall when I was here last 5 years ago, that pond was the place that everybody wanted to be. And then on the right side, there wasn't as many people. So you could go to that side and maybe have a little bit more space to yourself. But now everybody's over on this side checking it out. It's actually quite a big crowd today, considering that the tourist numbers are down this year so far. I'm just going to wander a little bit here because that's more fun than just staying put.
And this was all in the jungle, when was it?
No, except Angkor Wat.
Yeah. Oh, so everyone knew.
Yeah.
It's actually amazing. If you listen to some of the conversations people carry on here, they're just about to see one of the most amazing things in the world, and they're talking about the most petty things. Unbelievable. I don't think we have particularly dramatic skies this morning for the sunrise, but still pretty amazing to be here. This really is remarkable. I think it's hard to capture the feeling or, the light and everything with this camera that I'm using, but this really is truly amazing. So Angkor Wat's going to be pretty crowded now because everybody that came for sunrise is going to go and inside the temple, and the highest level isn't going to be open quite yet. So I think I'm going to take off to Ta Prohm, the Tomb Raider temple, and check that out. So where do you think now? Ta Prohm?
Right now? Okay.
Ta Prohm, you think?
Yes, yes, yes.
So we are off to Ta Prohm, the Tomb Raider Temple. One of my faves. So it's been about 2.5 hours already since I've been in the park, and I'm now entering the Ta Prohm temple complex. I entered through the east gate, and I'm going to spend some time here. This is one of my favorites. I mean, a lot of people's favorites because, obviously because of the Lara Croft Tomb Raider movie series, and it's just one of the most atmospheric temples in all of the Angkor ruins. Ta Prohm is the modern name of the temple complex. The original name was Rajavihara, which translates to Royal Monastery or Monastery of the King. The temple was abandoned for hundreds of years after the fall of the Khmer Empire in the 15th century. Ta Prohm was purposely left much as it was discovered because of its impressive layout and as one of the best examples of temples in the Angkor Archaeological Park that had merged with the jungle.
Teachers. Oh, teachers.
So it's believed at the peak time of Ta Prohm, the temple here, 80,000 people maintained it and were followers, 615 of which were dancers. Now, to be honest, early morning is the best time to visit this temple. You almost have it to yourself if you come here around 6 or 6:30, if you can get in. And you can really honestly feel the spirits of the past here. Well, the bigger groups are starting to show up now, but I found this little patch here. Oh, maybe I've lost it. For a few moments, I had this place to myself. What's kind of interesting, a lot of people miss this, is if you look on the ground, you can see a lot of carvings in the stone blocks here. Some of them are quite interesting. When the birds are louder than the humans, that's when, to me, this place is magical. When the humans start drowning out the birds, then it's, you come back to reality, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to try to hit one more temple and then maybe take a little sort of midday break, lunch, and then start off again in the maybe the early afternoon. So we're just talking about the next place to go. So we've decided to, Davin has suggested we go to the Terrace of the Elephants and check that out, and then maybe take a midday break and then come back, see the Bayon, Angkor Thom, what's left. It's really hard when you only have a day. You gotta sort of subtract something. You just can't see everything properly in a day. And rushing through, like, it would have been terrible to rush through Ta Prohm. Don't want to do that.
Jayavarman V was 10 years old when he became the king. At the age of 17 in 975, he began construction on his state temple, Ta Kiao. It was dedicated sometime around the year 1000. This is a steep climb with a rewarding perspective. Take your time on the descent. I'm now on the way to the Terrace of the Elephants, but I highly recommend a quick stop at the Victory Gate, one of two gates on the eastern walls of Angkor Thom. The army would return through this gate after a victory, hence the name. This is when, if you take the time to climb up the sides of the gate itself, you'll have access to some unforgettable views of the Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion, and some also say a likeness or resemblance to Jayavarman VII himself. The Terrace of the Elephants was a huge platform Jayavarman VII would use to view his army after a victorious battle. The terrace is named for the carvings of elephants on its eastern face. If you have time, you can also visit the nearby Terrace of the Leper King. Directly across from the Terrace of the Elephants, you'll find 12 towers that see very few visitors. There are a few stories behind the use of these towers. Some believe they were used to settle disputes between two parties. Each party would sit in a tower, and the first one to fall sick was then considered guilty or wrong. I don't know, sounds like an ancient version of The Apprentice to me. It's also believed they were used as supports for tightrope artists to perform for the king.
So I have arrived at Preah Khan. Preah Khan was another one of these temples commissioned by Jayavarman VII in the 12th century. This one's dedicated to his father. And it is, I think you'll find it very similar to Ta Prohm it's enveloped by the forest here, and it's just in absolutely gorgeous surroundings.
Preah Khan was built in the 12th century by Jayavarman VII to honor his father. Although it does not appear to have succumbed to the forest as much as its spouse or family temple Ta Prohm did, it's still a wonderfully atmospheric place to visit and one of my favorites. The initial clearing of the site took place between 1927 and 1932. Large statues found at Preah Khan were removed, and today the complex remains largely unrestored. I've got time for a quick stop at Bapuan, which is a short walk from my final destination for the day of the Bayon Temple. I'm finding it's really challenging to squeeze in my favorite sites all in one day and have a meaningful experience, but I would not miss the Bayon for anything. Bapuan is a three-tiered mountain-type complex dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva, built in the mid-11th century. In the 15th century, it was converted to a Buddhist temple. Its grounds are expansive and filled with monkeys that you'll spot along its walkway and to the sides. A massive restoration project for Bapuan began in the 1960s, but when civil war broke out, eventually leading to the Khmer Rouge reign, the original plans were lost. In 1996, a second restoration project known as the largest jigsaw puzzle in the world started, taking 16 years to complete. The lighter colored stones are the restored pieces. In my opinion, I've saved the best for last. It doesn't look like much from a distance, but the Bayon, with its 216 faces of the Avalokiteshvara, Buddha of Compassion, or Jayavarman VII, depending on what you believe, is one of the most striking structures of the whole park. I think the Bayon, by far, is one of the easiest temples to somehow develop a connection with and have something to hold on to for life. Unfortunately, on this visit, I was really disappointed because the upper terraces were closed, so I had to admire the stone carvings from a distance. This was Jayavarman VII's state temple and was the centerpiece of his massive construction of buildings and public works during his reign. Allow at least 90 minutes to wander through this precious, amazing complex. My favorite time of day to visit is after 4 p.m.
Okay, so I know those choices were pretty obvious. I hope you enjoyed that and found it helpful and useful for your trip to Angkor Wat and the Angkor ruins. Really is a remarkable place, a special place not to be missed in Southeast Asia. So if you like the video, thumbs up please. More videos from Cambodia, East Asia, Southeast Asia, and South Asia, so please subscribe to the channel. From Siem Reap, Cambodia, John Sabot, peace, over and out.